From the Abbey terminus, a short walk took us to the Abbey, which is an historic monument. Here the attendant told us something of its history. The Abbey was built in 1127 by the Benedictine order in the sheltered vale of the Nightshade, and the buildings are of local red sandstone, which is used in many of the town's public buildings and the docks. When the Abbey was built, Furness was a forested wilderness with a few small settlements, of which the most important were at Dalton, Roos, Newton, Lees and Walney. The monks were hard and enthusiastic workers. Soon many clearings were made in the forest. Skilled farming soon turned the gnarled forests into golden wheat fields, and the Abbey stood peacefully until the dissolution of the monasteries in 1537. The Abbey is built in the early English style of architecture, with its soaring pillars and elongated windows rising from well-kept lawns. At the dissolution, the Abbey was quickly de-roofed and all the valuables taken away. Much of the stonework was used for farm buildings. So it stands today, a peaceful ruin in the wooded valley. Summer afternoon, we went down to Roe Island, the embarkation point for a visit to the castle on Peel Island, one of the Channel Islands of Barrow. The channel here is the main centre for yachting and water skiing. The lifeboat station stands overlooking the channel, and we were lucky enough to be here when the lifeboat was being launched. The crew, with the exception of the resident engineer, are all volunteers. Amongst its 9 members are a Trinity house pilot, who's the coxswain, a teacher, a carpenter, a welder and a clerk. The lifeboat, the Herbert Lee, the last of 7 boats Barrow has had in almost 100 years of service, was donated by Mr. H. Lee of Bolton, and since its delivery in November 1951 has made 49 launches and has saved 35 lives. On an average, it has 2 service calls a year. The most recent was when the Well Park was in danger of being driven ashore off Lightning Knoll during a gale. But before the lifeboat could go to her assistance, she had cleared the lines and sailed into the open sea. In September 1958, a sick man was rescued from Morecambe Bay lightship in a hurricane which damaged the lifeboat severely, and for this feat, the coxswain was awarded the Bronze Medal of the Royal National Lifeboat Institution. the island passed away much of our time. Connecting Walney to the mainland is the Jubilee Bridge, which was built in 1908. We were lucky enough to be in Barrow when the Queen and the Duke of Edinburgh came to launch Dreadnought. The shipyard has had many royal visitors to launch its vessels. Princess Alexandra came to launch Oriana, and in 1957 the Queen ended her Lakeland tour here. Are very popular events in Barrow, and people crowd into the vantage points to wish the boats good luck on their first entry into the water. The Dreadnought is Britain's first atomic submarine and is the 295th submarine to leave the slipways. The first submarine was launched in 1902, and during the war 100 submarines were launched, the most famous being the Tally-Ho, Truculent and Trident. Dreadnought is very special. Many new techniques were used in building her. She will have a complement of 100 officers and men and is powered by an American reactor. After being safely launched into the channel, she was quickly taken in tow and moved into the fitting out basin. The greatest surprise in Barrow was to find so many pleasant beaches and sunbathing spots. Bigger Bank is the most popular of these and is crowded on fine evenings and weekends. The baths are both popular and cool, and here budding Johnny Weismullers and Anita Lonsboroughs enjoy themselves. It has amusements for children of all ages. Another favourite bathing spot where we enjoyed ourselves. An abundant female labour supply and skilled engineers make Barrow a good place for new factories, and 2 sites have been developed for light industry. We saw work going on at a light industrial site at Ormsgill. On Walney is the aerodrome which provides Barrow with its 4th means of transport. It was built during the war as a coastal command and fighter station and is now owned by Vickers Armstrongs, who use it for transporting their personnel. It can accommodate Isolated at the south end of Walney is the lighthouse, approached by a bumpy track. It was built in 1790 to light the entrance of this important ore exporting centre. It's kept in beautiful condition and has been constantly improved. It's kept by Bert Wheeler, his wife and his sister-in-law. Amongst their duties is the operation of the gale warning system. When gales are forecast, the north or south cone has to be hoisted to warn passing vessels to be prepared. The cones and lights of Walney have saved many lives. Before going into the house, Bert gives his girlfriend a little pat. The latest equipment, with its 4 electric-powered reflecting lights, sends out a beam of 450,000 candle power, which can be seen 21 miles out in the Irish Sea, and is easily picked up by the stream of ships in the main shipping lane 3 miles out. Tankers for Heysham or carriers form part of the busy traffic passing offshore. Looking down from the tower, the cobbled yard has borne the wear of 170 years. To the east, Peel Castle lies in the shadow of Lake District hills. It was built by the Abbot of Furness in 1327 to guard the approaches to Peel Harbour, from which wool and iron ore were exported. From Peel, we look towards industrial Barrow. Empty cottages stand silent sentinel over the old salt workings, and beyond rises Black Combe, Barrow's guardian to the north. In the shipyard, the cranes stand over the vessels on the slipways. The lighthouse lies near a great gullery, home of thousands of birds both rare and common. This sanctuary is carefully guarded from marauders, and as a result, it's the most southerly breeding place of the eider duck, which first nested. 12,000 workmen are employed by Vickers Armstrongs, and 5 o'clock is danger time on Barrow roads. Pedestrians, motorcycles and mopeds speed homewards.